Hey, this is my response to Dragon Ball Jiu-Jitsu on his views on Linux part 2. Pretty good video. I just want to first start by saying where I come from as a computer user. For the longest time, I was a Windows user, obviously, like most new Linux users are. But I put myself in the category of a power user, and for the longest time I was using what I thought was the pinnacle of operating systems, which was Windows 2000. It was the first time I was ever in control of an operating system, and I felt like I had control. You know, that to me, it was like the best thing Microsoft ever made. And of course they killed it off like they're going to do with XP. I never felt that XP held up to the same level as 2000, and that led me to look for something better. I am by no means a hacker, real hacker programmer. I can't even compile source code really. I just recently learned how to use command line to unzip a file. Almost everything I do is point and click, and the only things I don't do that are not point and click are things that I found are faster in command, which is not very many things. So, yeah, point and click junkie, love GUIs. I can't really run a system very well without a desktop. And I have very few problems running Linux.
It's going to have to be to the point where the average person can put in a Linux disk and in less than an hour later come back and everything work.
Other than my NVIDIA card driver, everything works perfectly on my desktop, on my laptop, my nephew's computer. You know, it runs, it's smooth, it's fast, no problems. My NVIDIA card is a proprietary driver, so I just open up Synaptic, click on the NVIDIA driver, install, I reboot, and everything's running. Wireless, everything.
But that's also the thing that scares away the typical user, because there's so many choices out there. I mean, look at what happened with Windows and Vista when they went to 6 or 7 different versions of Vista. Nobody knows what the hell they're getting. Nobody knows what they really need.
As for Vista, I don't think Vista failed because there's too many different versions. I think it had more to do with the piss-poor memory management of Vista. I think it had to do with the inflated system resources required by Vista's bloat. And if you don't think that's really what it is, compare the system resources that are needed for Windows 7, which is basically a tuning of Vista to fix the problems they should have fixed the first time.
There's just too many things that are different. And another thing is, it's so much different from Windows. Now, that's what Linux geeks really love about Linux, is that it's so different from Windows.
Well, Windows and Linux are more identical to each other than Windows and OS X. Like when I hit the X on a window on the interface in Linux, it closes. When I hit the red button on OS X, it makes the window disappear, but the program's still running. That was a huge thing for me when using OS X. It took me a while to get my brain to think that way, to actually go to, the application menu and hit quit. Otherwise, I thought when I closed it, it was gone. I was like, oh, it's closed, but it wasn't. So usability-wise, Linux and Windows have a lot more in common than OS X.
There's your problem right there. You have these true hardcore Linux geeks, and they want to keep Linux basically right there with them. They're the only ones that want to know anything about it, and they want to be the Linux gods, and they don't want everybody else. They really don't want it to become that popular.
I don't know where you got that from. I have not experienced that once. every person I know who is in the Linux community as a developer or a user wants people to use the software because they've poured their heart and soul into creating the software, or they're using the software and they know the benefits of it. They want as many people to use it. I know I do. If I can show somebody a tool that will make their life and their job easier, I'm going to show it to them. And I feel good because that's what it comes down to. It's about the community, a growing community, and the idea that everyone works together and shares and makes everything better for everyone. That was the idea.
There's so much more software out there that will work on Windows. Everything works on Windows.
Try installing Transmission BitTorrent Client and Ardour Music Track Recorder in Windows. Let me know how that goes. Well, that's all I gotta say. Those are my points. My 2 cents. Take them, leave them. But that was the emotion invoked by watching your video. Peace.